Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to our show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and I'm here today with Greg Viti. And what we're going to talk about is not only his journey, but some kind of mindset and methods that we need to utilize in today's environment. Remember, guys, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, really all real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x your business by providing the tools and training to help you build the business you want to build, but in turn, live the life you want to live. So, Greg, welcome to our show.
Thank you, John. So glad to be here.
Yeah, man, I watched some of your podcasts that you do, and I'm super excited to talk about, our topic today. But before we kind of jump into that and get in the weeds, tell our audience a little bit about you, right? Your real estate journey and kind of what got you here.
I grew up in Highwood, Illinois, a little small town, like 5,000 people. My grandfather had started his real estate firm there in the 30s. Before that, he was a sewer worker, and he got so good at the sewers that he had his own company, and he sold that company to a guy named Rataka, and the Rataka family's in the fourth generation is still running that. So my grandfather started his firm. He was, he had like one friend in the world other than Jesus and my grandmother, and he had 9 kids. So he was very motivated to do well in real estate and insurance.
Sure.
And, he bought a bunch of land way west. Everybody thought he was an idiot, and then he sold a bunch of it to Marriott, Lincolnshire. He bought another piece of land that he did a land lease with the Sheridan. And so I grew up going to the office. My father ran his business. My grandfather was very tight-lipped. When I say he had one friend, the friend was a gentleman named Mr. Fiore Nursery. And my grandfather had enough money to give him most of the loans to buy over 1,000 acres of land over time. And so I was around it. And my father was an expert witness, an appraiser, a realtor, an owner. And he always seemed so relaxed. And I was like, Dad, I'm working, son. I said, you're sitting on the couch. No, I just got the call. I'm going to go show this place. And then I would say stuff to him like, hey, Dad, I'm listening to you on the phone. It seems like you talk people out of the properties more than you talk them into it. He's like, well, that's what you have to do when it's not the right property, son. This one had a crack in the foundation. They don't have the money to fix it. You only have to sell them one, but you got to sell them one that's going to work. And even if they don't use you going out, but that's what you want, is you want that second sale, and you want to make sure it's going to be right. If they don't use you, we don't want them bad-mouthing because, it's not worth it. So, and everybody's going to think you're loaded because you're a Viti, because of grandpa, So I've got a lot of shit like that growing up. And I was a hellion when I was a kid. So I went to college in upstate New York at Ithaca College. And I was actually doing pretty well in communications. And I had a little problem with drugs and kind of got kicked out. Not kicked out of the school, but I was forced into being in Highland Park. And so a lot of my friends were scared to even talk to me. They knew I had some problem. And this good friend of mine from Santa Fe, New Mexico, he was from Chicago, but he's living in Santa Fe, and his cousin had started Wolf Construction, which is the #1 builder in Santa Fe now.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Came and he got me. He said, look, you got to move. So I moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico. I took a train out there. I had $89 to buy that ticket, and that's it. And it started such a great situation for me. I became a busboy to a waiter at night. During the day, I was a laborer to a carpenter or woodworker. And I knew my friend was going to be the head of the woodworking on this big site. So he was going to build all of the cabinets, all of the doors, interior and exterior. So I went and did a free apprenticeship and worked my ass off so I could be his assistant. And so when I came back to Chicago, I realized I wasn't going to get much more than $8, $10 an hour in Santa Fe unless I had connections. I wouldn't even be able to buy a good car. So I moved back and I started my own construction company. And I was just doing smaller jobs. And I made a lot of wine racks for the Del Rio. I think you heard that on that video. And
I did.
And so my friend Bill came to me and said, hey, I want to be your partner. And he gets us 2 big jobs right away. Way too big for us. And all of a sudden I had to come up with the right insurance. I had to come up with payroll. And all of a sudden I'm 28 years old, we're about 50 grand in debt between the two of us. And I look over at my dad and my grandfather and I thought, why have they been fighting this? They can inventory real estate without even having to pay for it. They can make money owning this in 10 different ways. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of a lot like your father. If you just act like him, I think you'll have a great life. So that's where I transitioned into real estate. And I was headstrong again. I didn't want to just work for him. I used him as my sounding board, but I wanted to move to the big city. And I remember right before I was leaving, my mother said, but your dad wants you to do the kitchen. I said, but Mom, I want to go downtown. So she got me so mad that I took everything out of the garage and started breaking through a brick wall. I called my dad's good friend, Mr. Hunt, and I bought he went down to W.E. O'Neill with me, and we got these joist holders, put the joist holders up, and renovated the kitchen into the garage. No permits or anything. I just got it done so nice. I can get downtown.
There you go.
And when I finally got my license, I was working at this Caldwell Banker office, a residential office, and this woman, Cheryl Fisher, she was the only person who really did business in the office. Everybody else was doing their nails, and they weren't on the MLS. I didn't know that when the manager kind of pulled that on me, and she brought me to this guy, Lee Harris, and he was in the middle of a meeting with a developer, and she's so aggressive that she went in, forced our way into his meeting, and he's like, but I'm in there. He says, listen, let Greg listen. And he was explaining the zoning on a building, and he was trying to explain to them, here's the highest and best use and why. And he went on and on and on and on. And he had all these big awards behind him. Mm-hmm. So after the meeting, after the developer, he goes, you want to be like this? You want to get the awards? I said, well, I want to do very well. To me, it's not all about the money in that. It's about being a service to people. And he kind of looked at me like I was nuts.
Right.
He didn't understand how deep-rooted my third generation of being a realtor to really try to help people and not think of myself first. And that's how, so I've always done that. And it's progressed where I've ended up working with, I was 12 years with Remax, 10 years with Koenig & Stray, 7 years with Sotheby's, the years that are in between with Berkshire Hathaway. And now I've been running my own business within a business at Keller Williams for getting on my 5th year.
Okay.
And I still really get a kick out of first-time buyers because they don't know anything. And it's so fun once they trust you and like you, and you can really help with the process. There's a magic that happens. Mm-hmm. It's not about the money. Mm-hmm. Then with the commercial, it's so exciting when someone calls me with a challenge. I always think, wow, if they wouldn't pay us much if we couldn't really help them with their challenges. So
right.
3 days ago, one of my old-time clients, we had some problems over some things that had happened in the past. He understood where I was coming from, but he knows I'm very talented. And his sister works with me, and he's been trying to sell a piece of land since 2017.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And he said, "Hey, I saw that broadcast or podcast with this gentleman. If he would buy this, I'll give him the zoning change because I know he could get it done." And he told me the price, and it made sense. So I called Jimmy, and now we're going under contract today.
Congratulations.
It was like boom, boom, boom. So it looks so easy when it goes like that, but it's hard earned over a lot of years. You know,
Yeah.
I think in this business, a lot of people don't understand that when you have to show up. When people say, "Greg, why you compare to them?" Well, I have enthusiasm. When you hit people with enthusiasm, that's a different energy than they're used to. Because most people don't have enthusiasm. And if you really love and you have passion for what you do, and you're a good listener, and you really want to help from your heart, a magic happens. And people don't get that. And everybody's all about the numbers. I sold this, I sold that. It's like, shut up. Who have you helped? What have you done? I don't care. I mean, about your numbers.
Right.
Okay, you have 28 people on your team and you did so many million. Oh, great. That's like you're saying, I'm a real estate office and we did this. Or what? Who cares?
Right.
Have you touched people's lives? Have you made it better for them? Have you taken challenges and done something extraordinary? You know, as I'm getting older now, I realize we don't have as long as we think. In our minds, our spirit never changes, but it does change. And so how are we going to make an impact?
Right.
So with my podcast lately, I've kind of taken a little shift to do some, like I just interviewed Ike. Well, it's a real estate story. His dad was an addict. He put together a little league deal. The mother homeschooled all of them. They all went to Ivy League schools. They started this Hope Academy on the west side, and they're taking people and putting them in all these schools. But then they bought Tim Glover's old gym where Jordan was working out, and they got 15,000 kids going through that now. And so putting out the energy and being around people that are do-gooders, that care like that, what happens is I get attracted to so many more now. And life's better when you have really great people around you and you have that like-kind connection.
Yes.
Really trying to do something.
Yes.
So I don't know if this is your normal real estate talk, but this is where it's kind of come to with me now.
No, I love the story, right?
Like,
because I mean,
not
there
just
are a lot of
about
technical aspects we can talk about real estate or about
It's
investing
about
or
changing people's lives, really giving good, solid advice. I mean, that's
Exactly.
what we have, is that our expert.
I got a quick question. You learned, I think it was carpentry or cabinetry and all that type of stuff. When you went back, what prompted you to go into real estate sales or traditional real estate versus maybe doing some stuff with construction or building or anything like that?
You know what? I thought that brokerage was the place to start, and that through brokerage you can learn. Like my father would always explain to me, son, I did the biggest zoning change in Highwood history, and people hated me for it, but they loved me because I'm the sweet, nice guy. But they disagreed with me, but I still do business. And
Right.
I watched the way he would do that. He would talk to people and basically nicely tell them how he totally disagrees with them, and he'd give them but he would do it in such a gracious way, So I always thought, like, brokerage is hand-to-hand. It's the way to start. But my 4th year in the business, this woman wanted me to go to Remax, and badly. And she kept offering me more and more and more. And then finally she said, okay, it'll be 5 months free. This developer who doesn't know what he's doing, it's okay. I'm interested in meeting the developer. So I went to meet him, and I realized this guy doesn't know anything about construction. He really needs my help. When he had someone doing his model, they were putting the conduit on the outside of the wall. And he goes, what do you think?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I said, we pay the professionals and put it on the other side. That's what I was able to really use my talents of construction that way. And Perfect. I did own a few buildings that I would do. I always picked the wrong partners. One partner got deported. Another partner was going bankrupt and we needed to sell. Now my partner is my daughter, and she's a wonderful partner. So, less is more sometimes.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask you. Like, when you started getting into real estate, what were some of the challenges that maybe you came across in building your business or building your skill sets or stuff like that?
Like I tell everybody, you've got to really get your database together, and you don't jump in a well and yell. You've got to be able to talk to a lot of people a day and not be a pushy salesperson. Don't talk about real estate. Build relationships with people. They'll know what you're doing. My father would always say, I say, Dad, they want someone aggressive. They do, but when the time's right, up front, aggressive is obnoxious.
Yeah, push them away.
Right. Why do you want to push people away? So my thing up front, once I started working with Lee and I realized the intensity that he was working with and the other people around me were working with, it was a different era. I would knock on 30 to 50 doors a day, and then I would call 10 to 30 people a day. And sometimes I wouldn't stop until 10 o'clock at night. And by my fourth year, I started selling over 40 properties a year. In my first 15 years, I sold between 40 to 50 properties a year. And my last 7 years at RE/MAX, I would win this award, the Platinum Club, which means you gross $250,000. And I would win that award between March and May every year.
Right.
And now I look back on it and I'm like, what the hell did you do with the money, Greg? Why did you buy some buildings? But, I had a great lifestyle. I'd go out west and ski twice a year. We would go on nice vacations. My kids went to great schools. And I was never smart enough to really do my books. Like I interviewed Mario Greco, and he's one of the top producers in our area. Nice guy. And my wife said, Greg, why aren't you more like Mario? I listened to the podcast. I said, about him at the end of the week, knowing exactly where he is, netting on which deals and all that. She goes, yeah, and the spreadsheets and stuff. I said, well, did you hear the part about him getting 2 degrees from Northwestern in engineering at the same time? And then after that, going to law school too? We're different people. Yeah. I have you to do the spreadsheets. I wasn't smart enough that young to put you to work for me. But in either case, we survived all the way till now. And the future really does look bright. As crazy as this world is and all the tariff and all the talk and everything else, if you take it up a notch a little higher and you're dealing with people that are trying to put together large developments and smaller developments, and so I built the building. It was a $4 million project. It was new construction. Wow. I raised all the money. I put my ass on the line. I didn't sleep probably for 2 years. And so I have a different empathy for the builder, developer, because I've done a lot of it. And I understand it looks so easy and it looks like you just make millions and everything. But in the meantime, it's hard work, it's sweat, and you never know what can ruin the development or have the numbers go south and everything else. So I'm definitely been working with a lot more builders and municipalities. And so it's upgraded from was residential brokerage to land, multifamily, mixed use development. And then I keep doing that. So I spin those plates. I get people to help me with the residential. Now, like with the retail brokerage, I've got someone else who helps me with that. And so I've always been kind of a control freak, but now I'm learning how to scale and let other people help me. And like I just talked to a woman this morning and she was telling me how she got a grant from the city. She started this whole program. She's going to do all the stuff with the city schools. And then she said, Greg, I listened to your podcast with Ike this morning. And I said, you want me to help you? She goes, I know you would. I said, for sure I will. That's what we need. Our souls need to help others. It's not just about us, I, me. It's about we. And can we get that energy? How can we make it contagious so it catches on for a lot of people to think that way?
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. But John, hopefully you're helping with your podcast.
Yeah. So what did you work on mindset wise to, as you grew, right, as your business kept going, to stay humble, right? Because I mean, you seem like you're very have a servant heart, and I love that. But what kind of mindset, what kind of things did you do to help kind of keep you on that flat ground?
So, as a child, when I was about 18, 17, I really got into yoga and meditating and hiking. And I'd always remembered that if you can control your breath, you can control life. And if you're frustrated with someone, you can visualize them in white light and let them go and ascend. You can forgive yourself and visualize yourself in white light. And so what I try to do, and I've tried to do this my whole career, is get the sheet of paper out or get the book out and write the 10 things that are really important to get accomplished today. And then do something in each one of those. But in the meantime, talk to people with good energy. I mean, a lot of these realtors, they think that the other realtors are their competitors. They don't understand that's where the magic is. When I get a great listing, I don't just go out and call buyers. I'll call those realtors that I know have the buyers, or they're going to be my buyers.
Exactly.
I worked with Joe Somerville. I sold him 4 different properties. I worked with Larry Bernstein. I sold him 3 different properties. It goes on and on and on. I partnered up with this guy. Why wouldn't we? When you figure out how I love doing puzzles. Since the COVID, I've probably put together 50,000 piece puzzles.
Jeez.
And my wife helps me too. Sometimes she gets mad at me. She's like, holy God, you're done with that one already? Yep. Because when I'm thinking harder about a project or a real estate thing, I get going on the puzzle. It seems like the numbers, the mixing helps me with, and I try to do that in my life too. And I know I drive my kids nuts because I've always got a positive spin. And they're like, you're like the biggest optimist. As opposed to me being the biggest negative. Yes.
Right.
I want to believe in myself and others that we have a higher calling, that there is a bigger spirit, and that we can tap in at any time. I'm a big Wayne Dyer guy. I don't know. So The Power of Intention.
Right.
That book where he's such a smart guy. And he takes enlightenment. He reads thousands of books and done all this to put it into a really easy, understandable way. When I figured that book out, I was in the middle of building that building and I was totally freaking out. I listened to the tape program probably 500 times. Because every time I put it on, it would heal me. And so now I don't need the tapes day to day because I'm so excited about the things I'm working on and the people that I'm putting around me. And so I feel very blessed that way.
Yeah.
So and for your question well or not, but show up early, try to stay late, answer your phone, follow up, have a good attitude. Don't pretend like you know something if you don't. Tell them you'll get back to them.
Right.
Research a little bit. Find other people that are smarter than you in certain things and reach to them. Yeah. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. You have to really connect on a different level. And sometimes you're dealing with them today and nothing's going to happen for 4 to 5 years. This big deal that I'm putting together on that high-rise I was telling you about, I've known the developer there for probably 30 years. We've talked about real estate probably 100 different times, and this will be the first time we're going to make money together. But he was making sure that I was getting the right split and everything.
Right.
So, it's hard earned. It takes a while. Sometimes it happens really fast, like that other land deal I put together in 10 minutes. This other one, it's taken 30 years. So, but God bless them that it works.
Yeah. Well, and I like some of the things you said, like, the cooperation, collaboration, not competition, right? When you say work out and reach the people, find people. If you don't know something, find someone who does. What type of tools or resources or things did you find that helped you with your mindset of being that type of person you are?
Um, you
Besides
know,
yoga.
it, again, I was always a basketball player, and I always had the attitude that I have to be in better shape than everybody else, and I have to play harder than everybody else. And to make sure my shots go down, I'm going to take 100 shots a day or more. And my brother would look at me and laugh. And he was like 6'2", so I'd say, Blaze, stand here. And he would watch me doing hook shots from either side 20 times, me coming into him and pulling back. And my brother was the kind of player that he wouldn't play for a week, and he'd come out and hit 20 shots in a row sometimes.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to make sure I was well prepared. So that same athletic mentality I've always taken into real estate. And it's an athletic event to me. It's not a competition. And and I feel like when you judge others, it doesn't hurt them, it hurts you. But the worst is when people judge themselves so harshly.
Yeah.
So most people on the planet, Wayne Dyer says 85% of them, their thoughts weaken them throughout the day. So how can we be part of that 15% solution? How can we bring our energy level up? How do you quelch the negative and bring up the positive and go to the next thing? How when you hear, oh, that deal didn't go through and that's the $20,000 I needed for next month's bill, how do you take a deep breath and smile and laugh and make that next inspirational call?
Yeah.
I remember hearing a Zen leader talk about how to be truly Zen, you're being chased by the lion. You climb up, you're on this last branch. You can see that you're going to drop 200 feet, but there's the berry there. He picks the berry and he eats and says, oh, it tastes so good as he's going down. And I feel like we all need to have that sort of, let's be nice to one another. Let's be nice to ourselves. And let's get goals and we haven't really talked about goals, like goals are so important because when you commit to it and you put it on paper, you're going to ruin your day if you don't do it.
Right.
So you when you really commit hard, if you're a person of real intention, you have to do it. You have to accomplish it. And it's not just about the sale or the money. It's more about the connection. The more connections, the more you help others, the more you get taken care of. I've always felt that. Like, I don't figure out what the commissions are up front. That's a kiss of death.
Right.
How can I help people on a radically exciting way that they're going to tell everybody? They become billboards for you in your business.
Sure. Yeah.
Much better way to get business where the referral business is the number one. When someone loves you and they tell someone else why you're the person, and then you can really prove that to them. Again, I try to be a chameleon with people. Like, I don't talk as much with people that don't talk much, or I talk more with people that do. But if someone comes to me and they're way off base, I let them know that kindly. And I don't take on assignments that I don't see myself being successful at.
Yeah.
I might put somebody else in that assignment, and I warn them what I see as the pitfalls, but I don't feel the need to have to force anything.
Right. I love your outlook. I love your mindset. I love your servant heart, man. Your clients are blessed to be able to work with you. You got this podcast going right now, and I watched a couple episodes. It's pretty cool. If folks want to reach out to you and talk a little bit more, maybe they're in your neck of the woods and maybe want to try to do some business, how could they reach out to you? How do they find you?
Well, to see the podcast, you could go to realestate-legends.com. Well, that's really to hear the podcast. If they wanted to see the videos, it's on the Real Estate channel on YouTube. And then my phone number is 773-617-8880. 773-617-8880. And my email is gviti@kw.com. And I also have gregviti.com. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn.
Awesome. Well, Greg, thanks for coming on and sharing all that, guys. I hope you got some good nuggets. For me, I got, collaborate, don't compete, really control the narrative in your mind and focus and work with intent, and help others.
Believe in yourself.
Yep, and believe in yourself. Greg, thank you again, guys. Hope you had a fantastic show. I know I did, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.
Thanks,
Cheers.
John.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.